Father Nareg Terterian is a graduate of Armenian Theological Seminary of the Great House of Cilicia in Antelias and has MA in Pastoral Theology and Master's degree in Clinical Mental Health Counseling from St. John's University of New York. He was ordained to the rank of priesthood in 2004, and in 2005 he was assigned as the pastor of St. Sarkis Armenian Church in Douglaston, New York. And I would like to announce this May, the parish will celebrate his 15th anniversary as pastor of St. Sarkis Church. Thank you, dear Nareg, for your services. Dear Nareg is married to Yeretskin, Anina Mezihedaisor, Paregadze Yeretskin, and they were blessed with 3 children, Josep, Lori, and Avedis. Avedis is my friend. Այսօր դեր Նարեգը շատ կործոն եւ աշխույժ եկեղեցվոն հովիվն է, որուն համար առաջորդարանը մենք բոլորս հպարտ ենք։ Հրամեցեք դեր Նարեգ։
Բարսաշնոր սրբազանհայր, սիրելի հոգևոր եղբայրներ եւ սիրելի բարեկամներ, ուրախություն է այսօր դարձել միասնապատելալ եւ միասին խորհրդածել մեր վեհապար հայրապետին տված պատգամին մասին, անցնող 2 շաբաթներում ընթացքին հայր Սահակը եւ դեր Վահանը բավական հետաքրքրական ներկայացումներ ունեն եւ այսօր այդ ներկայացումներում շարունակությունն է որ պիտի փորձեմ անել։ Dear brothers and sisters, as you know, this year His Holiness Adam I has declared the year of Armenians with special needs. The encyclical was read in our prelacy churches, different parishes, and I would like to read a few lines from the encyclical of Be'aparhaj. Be'aparhaj says, we call persons with special needs those who are handicapped with physical, intellectual, or emotional inabilities, those with total or partial incapacity, who are either born that way or have become so as a result of ulterior incidents. And then he poses a question. Now, what is the role of our church? And he answers to that question with the following words. The approach of Christ towards persons who suffer from physical, social, and emotional problems must be the guide for its service. The example of Nerses the Great, one of our patriarchs of the 4th century, is emblematic in our church's life, with his dedication and care towards those in need. Today our church, through its figures and the development of social and humanitarian plans, is called to enter into our family and community life, and in accordance with its settings and conditions, serve the Armenians in need. So the imperative that Be'apar sets is very clear. The church must develop social and humanitarian plans and serve those who are in need. And when we start thinking and speaking about people with special needs, my bias is that most of the time we think about people who are in a wheelchair. But when we look at the data, we see something different. And Be'apar made it very clear. I picked 2 parts from his encyclical where he says, where he puts the emphasis on physical, social, and emotional. Therefore, the person with a special need is not only the person who has some physical condition, it is also the social and the emotional. And I would like to share with you some data, some recent data. 7% of children ages 3 to 17 have ADHD. 8% of children ages 3 to 17 have learning disability. 10% of children have an anxiety disorder. 13% of children ages 13 to 17 have some serious conditions like autism and CP. 17% of all of Americans will experience a communication disorder at some point in their life. This is not, nobody is immune from this. It could happen to any one of us we don't know what the future can hold for us. So therefore, it's very easy for us also to kind of fit into this category. So I'm sharing this data with you just to emphasize the point that special needs is everywhere. It's part of our parishes, and it is part of our families. Today, I'm not going to read, I will not share with you some very complicated things. I would like only to share with you a few stories. And hopefully, through these stories, we will try to understand the depth of the message of Bela Parhaj. I will start with my parishioners. I was officiating a funeral service for someone who passed away not too long ago, a person that I did not know very well. And when I met with the family members, they told me about their father. And one thing that they wanted me to know is that their father was a person who, when the earthquake happened in Armenia in 1988, and subsequently the following years when people started to come to New York to be treated in different hospitals, this person will take his lunch break and go to those hospitals just to spend time with people who were severely damaged as a result of the earthquake. This is a great example of how we can help someone who is in need. The other example is a collective one that comes from the life of our parish. Our parish years ago, through the efforts of one person, started helping the Gavar Special School in Armenia. Gavar School is a school for people who have special needs. And you should see the enthusiasm of people who come together in our church, collecting goods, collecting money, supporting various activities, going and renovating that school, because they know that it's not, monetary contributions that they're making, but they are affecting, they are helping somebody or a group of people who are in need. So, the topic or the title of my speech is Service or Humility in Service. So obviously you know that what I'm getting at. It's about trying to serve people. But we need a clear perspective. Serving the disadvantaged should not be for something, but it should be for someone. And that someone is no one other than Jesus Christ. The moment that we are able to look at the person and to see in him Jesus Christ, then our life is transformed. Then our service is affecting us spiritually. When we serve, we don't just give bread, clothes, or medicine, but we need to give love, human warmth, and dignity. I will share with you three experiences that have affected me on a very personal level, in a very deep way. As Derhard mentioned, I continued my education here at St. John's University, and part of the activities that we had as students is to participate in a program that is called Midnight Run. This is a program where we collect food and clothing, make sandwiches, and then drive to the city where we know where to meet the homeless people and give food to them, give clothing to them. So I was taking this summer course, and the campus was almost empty. Few people were taking summer courses. And there was a need because they have blocked so many days and not too many people were volunteering. So I volunteered a few consecutive days to be part of the Midnight Run. And it was fun, and the very last night I asked if my wife also can participate, and they said of course she can, because they needed manpower. So we went to our location where we were designated, and we started helping the homeless. My responsibility for that day was to be in the van and give clothing to the homeless who came. And then this gentleman came to me and he asked me for a shirt. He said, "Sir, please give me a shirt, a white shirt." And in my mind, I'm thinking, come on, why are you being picky now? I'm gonna give you whatever I have and you should be happy, right? And I pulled and I found a polo shirt and I gave it to him. And he said, "No, this is not gonna work. You need to give me a dress shirt." I said, "Can you please help me understand why do you need a dress shirt?" He said, "Of course." He said, "I've been homeless for a while, but in the meantime, I've been applying for jobs. And tomorrow I have an interview at Macy's. I need to be dressed. So please give me a nice shirt." I was not able to find a shirt in that van, so I jumped to the other van. I was able to find that shirt and gave it to the guy. So, going home that night, it was no longer about the fun that we had, but it was about the difference that we were able to make in that person's life. It affected us, and it's affecting me now as I reflect on it. The second event was a prolonged one. My training was at Queen's Hospital Center, and it was over a year. And we were working with people who had very severe mental disorders. And part of our responsibility as interns in the hospital was to provide assessments, and just speak with the doctors and learn from them, and then to run groups throughout the day. So it could be very boring and it could be very mundane to sit down and do those group works. But that year was challenging for me, and it helped me grow, and it helped me be transformed, because I was able to see that those people who are less fortunate, who have special needs, are the ones who, besides their medication, besides the care that the hospital was trying to give, they needed love, and they needed the human touch. Every evening at 4 o'clock, initially I couldn't wait for 4 o'clock to come so that I could go home and, take a shower and resume my normal life. But at 4 o'clock, I would start thinking about the fact that I would go home to my family, to my wife and my children. These people are going to stay here. This was another event that changed my life. The third story that I would like to share with you is something that we started for the past 2 years with our Salt and Light group of St. Sarkis Church. As part of our outreach ministry during Christmas time, we decided to take the children and have them experience something different. We took them to St. Mary's Hospital in Bayside. Those who have been to this hospital, or haven't been to this hospital rather, it's a place where children with special needs are. It is a very sad place. We were to spend there about 2 hours. Our responsibility for the day was very simple. Go there, take some arts and crafts, sit down with the children, and do your arts and crafts with them, and engage and have some conversations. So our children, the children of our community, the older ones, right? They were very excited. We go there, and as they start seeing the population that comes, they were so shocked. They were so scared. They didn't know what to do. So we gave them some instructions saying that just be there. Just be present and engage in conversations. 10 minutes later, that whole atmosphere was changed. the children were socializing, they were engaged, and they were so happy for that opportunity that was given to them. So when we finished our 2 hours, obviously it's a Catholic institution and they have a chapel. We asked permission if we could use the chapel, and permission was granted. We go down to the chapel and we said a prayer, and I gave them 5 minutes to reflect. And I wanted to share with me their thoughts, their feelings, to debrief, in other words. It was overwhelming, the stuff that I heard. And it was around Christmas time or before Christmas. And I asked them, what did you guys want for this Christmas? And they were like, it's not important at this point. The big stuff that, that they were concerned about, am I gonna get this, am I gonna get that? That didn't matter. I know a brother and sister who have sibling rivalry, and I asked them, how's that going for you guys? I'm like, no, we're not gonna fight anymore. It was an experience that it touched them. It transformed them. The second year, when we announced the plans to go, the excitement was much bigger, and the experience was the same with more enthusiasm. We see that when we are with people with special needs, and when we try to help them, the help that we give is not only going to benefit them, but it has the power to transform us. Mother Teresa says, kind words can be short and easy to speak, but their echoes are truly endless. I'm reading a very interesting book, and I would like to share a few lines from that book with you and conclude my presentation. This book is from Marcia Lehman, and for those who don't know her, she is the founder of dialectical behavior therapy. This is a breakthrough in the work of psychology and therapy, and she is, by the way, a very spiritual person. This is what she writes. If you are with someone who is in hell, keep loving them, because in the end, it will be transformative. They are like someone walking in a mist. They don't see the mist, and you may not see it either. They don't see that they are getting wet, but if they have a pail for water, you put it out in the mist. Each moment of love adds to the mist, adds to the water in the pail. By itself, each moment of love may not be enough, but ultimately the pail fills, and the person who has been in hell will be able to drink that water of love and be transformed. I know, I have been there. I have drunk